Kumlan Avlat Gemara. Today's daf is Davov. This is Wednesday. We're ready up to Davov on the base on top. We're continuing to understand when the Mishnah says Mahatzad. In other words, if you combine a couple of the others malachas together, we can glean from that another malacha. So far we gave three different explanations from Abaye, Rava, and Avada as to what other malacha we need to have two malachas, what other mazikin we need to have two of the others mazikin to teach you that. Comes along Ravina and he says, I'll tell you another one that you learn only from Me'atzad. You cannot compare it to one Av on its own. You need a combination, the confluence of a couple of malachas to reflect on this. So, for example, Ravina says, La Suya to include, now we learned in the Mishnah, HaKoisel Ha'ilan. If you have a wall or a tree that suddenly, with no warning, shenaflu, that it collapsed, into the street, and before you had a chance to clean it up, before you're aware of it, vehezika caused damage. The law is patur milashalom, you don't have to pay. But if nosno is man lokos, you were given a slip that you have to clear this by a certain time, or cut the tree down by a certain time, or the wall is in danger of falling down, you must remove it by a certain time. As the eel in the tree, velisa kaisel, demolish the wall. The nafle beteiches man, if it collapsed prior to that time, as you get potus like an oinus. Abelachas man chayv, but afterwards you're chayv. So let's talk about this wall that collapsed or the tree that fell down, and you're chayv. Hey chidam. If you made it hefker, so that's the case of bird. Ben Rabbi Shmuel had a bird. Ma'ishna bird. What do you mean by bird? What's a bird? The zeikei matzah, it's common. Ushmirat lechet is your responsibility. Because if you have a hole in the ground, things fall down to it. So the same thing over here. Now, when we say over here, Hazeka Motzi, Rashi points out it's not like Regel, which is Mamish Motzi. And here, it doesn't happen as often, but compared to not happening at all, it's considered Motzi. Haninami, same thing here. If the tree collapses, the wall collapses, Hazeka Motzi. People fall, stumble. Navas, the layafki, didn't make it hefka. So according to Rav, it's a combination of shoy and boy, like Taisa said. Abolish before. Abolish Shmuel. Shmuel, the Amar Kula Meboidal Majul, that's Mamish Boyd, Hainu Boyd. So where's the Mahatzad coming in here? If your tree fell down, you didn't clear it, and somebody falls down, that's Boyd. So you made it hefke. Yes, it's dissimilar to boy. You know why? From the moment you created the bird, it's already ready to cause harm, to cause damage. But Bahani, when you built the wall, it was a perfect wall. It was not meant to cause damage. Or when you planted that tree, it was going to grow like a normal tree. When you built it there, or you in that place there, it was all good. So it's not like bird at all. So show will prove you're allowed to have a show walking with you in the street, and yet you're responsible if something goes wrong. The show goes out to cause damage. Here it was stationary and you came to it. It's bird. So between show and bird, we learn how to write in history. Okay, so these are the four different ways of how to understand what to learn from Me'atzad in our Mishnah. Then the Mishnah finishes off that when you cause damage, the mazik is liable. Says the Gemara, first of all, the wording should have been chayiv. Now he's liable. Hi Tani Yishalmi, this Tani Yishalmi. The Tani Lishtikli always likes to learn brief. Oh, there's so many names, Aramaic names, when it's in the Rab Avoin in Yishalmi comes Rabboin, take off the olive. They try to shorten words. So they also, instead of chay, they say chav. Anyway, the Shalom Tishlim for Nezek. Tell them what we learned. It says in Pasuk, Meitav Sadeyu, Meitav Karma Yishalom. So right, so if you shilach the bidai, will be as the achar. Your animal went to another field. We learned before that's Regel and Shen. So what do you have to pay? Meitav Sadeyu, the best of your field, Meitav Karma, the best of your vineyard. You have to pay. When we say yours, who's yours? Yours is the best, comparable to the best field of the Nizik. So you might have superior fields, but the best field of the Nizik is equal to the worst field of the Mazik. So you can pay with your worst fields, or does it mean that you have to pay with the Mazik's best fields? Let's say you owe him $100, but pay him $100 for your best field. Which one is it? So the Gemara starts off saying, and first we understood a little bit differently, but then we're going to steer the argument in that direction. Tell them what we learned. Meta today made a kamishal, Meta today a shanizik, Meta kaima shanizik. And we look at the fields of the nizik, and the best of those fields, that's what you have to give. We'll soon see what that means. Rabbi Kiva says, no. No. When you pay for your damage you did, you have to give from the best of your field, the premium field. And the Kabul Chemel Hegdish, it sounds like surely when you pay to Hegdish, you got to give you a premium field. And that's going to be very problematic because the thing is, if your animal damages an animal Hegdish, you pay nothing because they're sure to AU. So we'll discuss that soon. Says Rabbi Shmuel, right now the Gemara doesn't understand what Rabbi Shmuel is saying. So the Gemara says as follows. So right now we think that if, let's say, you cause damage on a poor quality row of fruits or vegetables by the nizik, you take that same measurement of that row, you go to the best field and you say, well, what's that row worth with this premium fruits on it, and what's it worth without the premium fruits? And that's how we assess the damage. So even though you damaged a poor quality part of the section of the field, you're gonna have to pay for the best quality. That's what Gemara thinks right now. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Shmuel, if you ate the best quality fruit, you got to pay that, obviously. But if you ate the worst quality, you also have to pay the best. What happened was he ate one row, entire row of vegetables, whatever it was, of grains, and it had fruits on it, or whatever it was, and we don't know what it was. Did he eat from the better ones? Or the weaker ones, or Yishmeinach of the better ones. We don't know. And that's what Rabbi Shmuel says, the Shvashalish, you pay the better ones. Saying about it can't be. We generally say something that Aisa L'chumra, but when it comes to Dinei Mamres, the rule is always something L'nitva L'kula. We always say to you want money from somebody, you want to extract money, you, the plaintiff, prove that you're right. Otherwise, so therefore, we always take the lenient side. So if we don't know what the damage was, then was it from the premium fruits or the weaker fruit, the lean ones? Well, of course, we go out and say it's the lean ones. Prove otherwise. If we wouldn't know for sure, the leaner ones, you pay for the premiums. Isn't the rule that whoever extracts it has to prove it? You know what we're talking about over here? Idi is the nizik. We're talking about where the premium fields of the victim is equal to the premium fields, to the lean fields or the weak fields, the unfertile fields of the mazik. That's the argument. Rabbi Shmuel saw but the nizik, and that you look at the nizik, his premium, whatever equates to that, and the mazik, that's what he pays. Rabbi Kiva saw but the mazik and the mazik shouldn't gain, pays from his premium fields. What's going on here? My time in Rabbi Shmuel, what's his logic? Nemar sada lemata, the nemar sada lemaila. It starts off saying that you should be that you send ubia b'zdei acher, says that's day acher. Your animal went and consumed the fruits or the grains for another field. We're talking about the victim. So the word "day" is referring to a victim. And then you say Meitav Sadeu Yishalom. So when it says again the word Sada, it's Gzera Shava, the very same Sada that we spoke about before, which is the victim. And now that you say Meitav Sadeu is the victim, so you pay the best of the victim's fields, whatever equates to what the mazik. Never said the nizik is the victim. After the nizik is the victim. Rabbi Kiva, no. Rabbi Kiva says, "Taich the words. Forget the English Shabbat. Mate of Sadehu, whoever is paying, pay for the best of your field. The mate of Karma Yisham, the Hey the Yisham, pay the best of yours." But Rabbi Shmuel, the pasuk clearly says, like Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Shmuel takes the Gzeira Shabbat and he usurps the pasuk pshat the pasuk. Rabbi Shmuel, ahani Gzeira Shabbat, and he says, yes. Sometimes I'll use a Gzeira Shabbat, and sometimes I'll use a literal pasuk. Ahani Gzeira Shabbat kidamin. You know when Gzeira Shabbat, exactly what I said. If the premium field of the victim is equal to the poorest field of the mazik, they're equal. Ahani kro. So when does the pasuk say that? No, you got to pay according to the mazik, where it's in between. What happens in the premium field of the nizik is better than the worst field of the mazik. But the premium field of the mazik is better than the premium field of the nizik. So there's nothing that equates to the premium field of the nizik. So here the Gzeira Shavah says, here the pasuk says, don't go after the poorest field of the mazik. In this case, jump up to Meitav Sadeya, the best of your fields. Ahanikar going to Isla the mazik, it is a Buddhist. The mazik has idis as a Buddhist. The idis lenizik, the Buddhist, the mazik was Shavia. The idis lenizik, and the nizik has the idis, the Buddhist. The mazik lo shavik it is the nizik, and the problem is that the Buddhist of the mazik is not equal, does not equate to the best of the nizik. It's less. So what should the mazik do now? The mishal made of the day. In this case, we jump up to the premium of the mazik, like the pasuk says. But he can't say come and collect from the booties, and the gobi made to be collect from the best. Okay, Rabbi Kiva says no, that the mazik always has to give his premium, and then he says this part we don't understand. My surely by hegish what? We gored an animal hegish. You potter from paying. Not only you don't pay premium, you don't even pay the booty, you pay nothing. Because it says the pasuk, shoyd the ayu, the shoyd of your friend, not for the hegish. Ella must be la'omer. It's talking about a case. You said, I am going to offer a certain amount of money for the maintenance of Beis Hamikdash, an obligation that I had. And you're telling me, that you got to give the idiots. Why? The Asi gives me the guy becomes and has the right to collect from my superior fields. Why? I shouldn't be any different than a Balchayv. Well, Balchayv a Balchayv always collects. Like we had in Margittin. In Hanazaka, Balchayv collects from the medium field. So the better goodbye collects from the medium. Why from medius? You might say, Rabbi Akiva holds that Rabbi Balchayv also medius. I can ask a question. Maybe even if Rabbi Akiva held that an ordinary Balchayv collects from medius, but maybe when it comes to Hegdish, they can't, only from Bainis. Hegdish, in a way, is inferior to an ordinary Balchayv. Why is that? If in the case of damages, he will collect idiots. But when it comes to the Zikin, Hegdish doesn't get paid. If you damage Hegdish's property, you don't get paid. So see that Hegdish is on a lower level. Who says they get idiots when they come to collect their debts? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you what. Rabbi Akiva, you assume Rabbi Akiva agrees with that opinion that says that if Hegdish causes damage, if you cause damage to Hegdish, you're exempt. You're exonerated. Actually, Rabbi Akiva holds that you're chayiv, and that's what he's saying here. Since I hold you chayiv when you gore an animal of Hegdish, surely you should pay a premium. If an ordinary person you pay a premium, surely for Hegdish. And what's that? We damage Hegdish. The Kakashalach, I ask a question, you don't pay for the animal Hegdish. Rabbi Akiva so looked at Shimon Asya. The Tanya we learned. If a shoyshel hegdish potter, if a shoyshel hegdish damages shoyshel potter, shoyshel hegdish shenogash hegdish. But if we damage hegdish, if hegdish damages us, the taka exonerate. But if we damage hegdish, bain tam, even a tam, let alone a muad, you got to pay the full price premium. Not only on your potter, you pay the muad like the price of a muad from the very start. Says the Gemara, so they're arguing regarding hegdish. Says the Gemara, so how do we then know? So it just seems to be two arguments here between Rabbi Akiva. One is the premium field is according to the nizik, the victim, which is Rabbi Shmuel, according to the mazik of Akiva. And the second thing is, do you pay if your animal causes damage? How do you pay? So how do you know the two arguments? Maybe they're only arguing about Hegdish. How do you know the Be'idi is the nizik, Vizibud is the mazik plea? That's what they're arguing on. Dilma the kuliyama, but everyone holds you pay according to the values of the nizik. And the hocha and the argument of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel, the pluk to Rabbi Shimon Nasi, Rabbi Akiva, that's what they're arguing. Rabbi Akiva said, Rabbi Shimon Nasi, if you damage Hegdish, you have to pay the premium from the outset. Rabbi Shmuel, so that you totally pay potter. So the wording is incorrect. In Canaan, so what do you mean loy bo hakosov? Akiva starts off saying the loy bo hakosov, that the pasuk is not coming only to collect the zikin from medius. Rabbi Shmuel agrees. There's no argument. According to you, there's no argument. They all agree you collect from medius other victim. So what's Rabbi Akiva saying? Loy bo hakosov, everyone agrees. Number one. Number two, what do you mean kavachem? On the contrary, if Rabbi Akiva agrees, Rabbi Shmuel actually he's being lenient. Rabbi Akiva, the way we learned originally was you got to pay the premium of the mazik. Now you tell me that even though the premium of the mazik is worth a lot more than the premium of the nizik, pay according to the premium of the victim, which means he's trying to be lenient. So how can you make a kal v'chayim to be strict for something lenient? My kal v'chayim al-hegdish. Number two. And number three, ba'oid ha'amar Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi himself said, Tanya behedya, there's a clear brayse where it says, Meitav sadeyu, Meitav karma yishalom, the best of your fields. Meitav sadeyu shal nizik. Rabbi Shmuel says clearly it's from the nizik, or Meitav karma nizik, divrei Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says you pay according to the value of the nizik, according to his status. But Rabbi Akiva says meitav sadeo shel mazik or meitav kama shel mazik. Rabbi Akiva says clearly that you pay according to the premium fields of the mazik. So therefore, that we know that's what they're arguing. Have a good day. Continue with the shift tomorrow.